All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Retrospective on RLG CAST. Welcome, everyone. We got JohnnyDonuts, Puttyman, and of course, Campo's here. He's the big time host of the show. Um, we're here today because we want to talk about Batman Forever. It is now the 30th anniversary, I think, in a couple days, or did it pass?
Well, this will be posted on the day.
All right. Um, and this is like a kind of an honor or tribute to Val Kilmer, who recently passed away, well, a few months ago. Um,
And I
but
think
I
Joel
know this
passed
is
away too, right?
what was that?
Joel
Oh yeah,
passed
a
away too.
long time
Schumacher.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that. Okay, that's there you go. Um, I know this is like near and dear to Campos' heart because I know he loves this movie. But we want to do a little bit of a deep dive. But before we do that little deep dive, obviously this movie has been released on June 16th, 1995. Stars Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones. Um, we got Nicole Kidman, rare. We got
Not as
Chris
Catwoman.
O'Donnell, and two people that returned to the series. We got Michael, who played Alfred. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his
Goff.
last name. And Pat Hingle, who
That's why you
played
keep
James Gordon.
JD around. JD, tell him what his name was.
It was Michael Goff.
Michael
Michael
Gove.
Van Gogh.
So, obviously, this is directed by Joel Schumacher. Budget of $100 million. Box office $336 million. Um, and I don't know if anybody else wants to do a bit of a plot retrospective here, but or do you want me to just go ahead and read what was off of Wikipedia?
Do you want me to give you my what can I remember one?
Go for it because I know this is like near and dear to your heart.
Wait,
Bruce
whoa, Timmy's
Wayne is
working for
dealing
you
with the
now?
duality of his personalities. The dark side, which is Batman, who he actually is, and his fake alter ego, Bruce Wayne. Chase Meridian is
Jeez.
his doctor.
This
Meridian is
therapist.
the meaning between the two sides of oneself. It's the split. That's his doctor. Chris O'Donnell plays his definitely not gay lover as
Whoa, I
Robin.
just realized I put two and two together. You're right. The meridian is the
Yeah.
dividing line, but damn.
Yeah, I mean,
Campo, Campo hit us with the
they
facts
got
on
a
that
couple
one.
things going on in there. Then there's Two Faces. One of the villains also a split personality. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone is not in this movie, unfortunately. But a lot of
Uh,
glowing people are.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew
Yes.
Barrymore's
And
in it.
Debbie Mazar
yeah,
Yeah.
from
yeah.
Return to Oz.
That's what
hmm
you pulled? You
Yeah.
could have pulled anything. He said Return to Oz. You could have told us how. Wait, was.
Wait, did
Yeah,
Drew
no,
She was also
she's.
Barrymore?
in the
She was the.
craft.
She is the bad girl in Beethoven, right?
So wait a second.
Yes,
So,
she
so
is. That's right.
if we're gonna go that early, are we gonna then say E.T. for Drew Barrymore since she's also in that same?
Drew
Both of them
Barrymore, a
child actors.
Firestarter fame.
Starter.
I
Like,
mean, these are literally two stars that ends up growing up and being like
so was Val
two opposites.
Kilmer. So was
Yes,
Chris
that's right.
Yeah.
O'Donnell.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. Boys
So
don't
was
cry.
Pat Hingle.
No, but a young Michael Goff played the Celestial Toymaker in the second ever episode of Doctor Who in 1963.
That's a pull. That's a pull. Can we get some congratulations in the chat? F in the chat, boys.
Who, in the more recent, was played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Who? As in Doctor Who?
Yes.
Anywho.
I'm still disappointed from the finale, but
Remember that time we were talking about Batman?
yes,
Yeah,
let's talk
I
about
mean,
Batman.
Yeah, so bad Riddler and Two-Face are running amok around town. Batman is dealing with his own issues. He gets Robin to join him, kind of trains him. He
Yep.
doesn't really want him to be part of his team.
He steals the Batmobile.
Steals the Batmobile, steals a
Mhm.
motorcycle, gives him the motorcycle. Robin saves a girl. Robin becomes Robin, and
I think you're going to say Robin becomes a girl.
cue the music. Cue
Well,
and
I mean, when we're talking about the plot and the overall movie, what did you guys think of
I
of the
like this
movie.
movie. I think it's underappreciated. Is it good? No, not really, but it's like a
It's still fun.
yeah, I like it.
Mhm.
I
The
think
only
it's
thing I didn't like was the plot about brain control in the TVs. That was a little silly for me.
Well,
It was
well,
too Batman 1966-ish for me.
yeah. Well, that's what
This was like
they're pushing.
sorry, go ahead.
I would say, well, that's what it felt like they're pushing for. Because remember, they were trying to go back to that slapstick cartoon with this one. Because with the Burton ones, it was more of an edgy film. These went back that way, which also makes me wonder what they would have done. Because wasn't Robin Williams up for the part for Riddler before this?
yes.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I'm always wondering how that dynamic would have been because of how Tommy Lee Jones just did not like Jim Carrey. How it would he have been with like Robin Williams, and what would have been the atmosphere of this movie?
Well,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
Robin Williams is a lot more of an
Yeah.
Mhm.
actor than Jim Carrey is,
Maybe if we had Robin Williams, Billy D. Williams would have returned, and you could have got Williams and Williams.
and a lot of cocaine.
I think
Yeah.
Robin
It's a
Williams
hell
had
of
a
a
lot
drug.
more depth.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
his
I think Jim Carrey did a good job.
Yeah.
I will not stand I will not sit for the slanderous stuff that you're saying.
well,
I'll give you this. Jim Carrey did a better job than Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones didn't
100%.
want to be there.
No.
And
And
he also didn't want to stand for Jim Carrey's chicaneries.
Yep.
he
I
the
mean,
one thing I'll say about this too is Two-Face was never Two-Face. He was just an insane criminal. He never had that duality in this movie. I don't
Yeah,
think at least.
yeah. Well, yeah, and there was never it was only the flip of the coin where the duality would be there, but it was still him being Two-Face. There was never a Harvey Dent involved in the situation ever where you had those two split personalities.
Harvey Dent.
And so, and I mean, luckily we got to see that later on down the road in the Nolan films. But as far as like with Jim Carrey and even with Robin, Chris O'Donnell, it felt weird because we are younger to a younger kid, but at the same time, it kind of works for this atmosphere where they were trying to keep it, you know what I mean? Because having a kid would be a little too risky, you know what I mean? Especially if they were trying to target kids. So I felt they did a good job when they came to picking Robin in this situation.
well, I mean, going back to the whole Robin Williams thing, this would have been like the second time he got screwed out of that franchise.
Yeah,
yeah.
because he was originally up for the Joker role too.
But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
but it was a huge departure from the original for the first two films. I know that a lot of sponsorships were kind of upset over the dark tone of the second one, the first one.
McDonald's especially.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got the cups. That's all that matters.
I still have mine.
I still have mine.
I don't have mine.
Um,
I still
but
use
yeah,
my
I
Batman.
I think Joel Schumacher just wanted to brighten it up a little bit, and make it a little more.
I think this movie, we've talked about this. I don't know where you're gonna go here. If we should are we giving thoughts about stuff?
Yes.
This movie is loaded with gay undertones. Loaded.
The nipples on the cuff.
Schumacher, proud, supreme, partying, orgy style gay man. Love him. Great guy.
Good on him for that.
Release the Schumacher cut. I want to
Yeah.
see how far
Apparently they're saying that'll never happen.
that's what I heard too, but like I heard that it goes like really deep into like the relationship between Robin and Batman, and like I'm not saying it goes all the way gay or anything, but I think there's his actual movie that he was trying to make was a lot better than the movie we got. And like I said, I like Batman
Yeah.
Forever. For me, it's Batman and Robin is the one that's like off the deep end. Like this
Yeah.
movie is very watchable. It's not boring. Like there's stuff there. They have a great cast. The
Great
action
soundtrack.
the action, yeah, one of the best soundtracks, which we'll get to. The action is great, like stuff like that. And I think I want balls to the wall Schumacher.
Well,
Right?
how long was it
Mhm.
before we got the Donner cut on Superman 2?
20 years.
So who
What
knows,
year is
maybe
Superman
Maybe.
2? What year is Superman 1? 70
79, I think.
79, so 80
80 or 81.
I think
Yeah.
is, and then we got it in 2001, I think.
Okay.
No, okay, when
Well-
it had to be on when Blu-ray was out. When did Blu-ray come out? There's no DVD copy of the
Then it
Donner
must have
cut.
been like mid 2010s.
Because I bought that. I remember buying the Donner cut when it first came out and just being blown away by it. Like, this is such a better movie than Superman 2.
2006 was the Donner cut at the
There you go.
25th anniversary.
Wow.
Thank you, Timmy.
Well, going back to what Campo said before about Batman and Robin being the worst one. There's a progression I feel like in the situation because you have Batman, which is really good, dark tone, not scary because it doesn't really have monsters involved outside of the Joker, but Joker is just more of a mob kind of a personality. Then they go into Penguin, which was a really scary thing for kids. So when they shifted over to this, it still had the good tones that we loved because I feel like Schumacher pulled back on it. But what happened was because of the fame of this movie still being big in the box office, that's when Warner Brothers said, "Dude, Schumacher, you did great. We need to make it more kid friendly now, more and more." And that's when we got Batman and Robin, which were just way too off the wall.
That was the bad credit card.
I think Batman and Robin was him just not wanting to make the movie and being forced to do it and saying, "Well, I'm just going to make a really shit movie on purpose."
Which one, Batman and Robin? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, I agree and disagree with you. I think Batman 89 is way darker in its themes than Batman Returns. I do think Batman Returns is a lot weirder and more Tim Burton-y than Batman 89.
More of a Tim Burton movie.
But that's my point to it. I'm not saying that the first Batman isn't dark in the second one. I'm talking about second wise as far as like more prosthetically scary for kids. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's also a lot more. The second one was a lot more violent too.
And it also had Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, right.
He plays his dad on the bridge.
And exactly. he reprises that role in Gotham.
Yeah, I know. And that was great. That was actually his best role when he did that. Like that was way better in that show than this was in this movie. Which nothing to give him credit. There's only short scenes, but he did amazing in that. You should go watch Gotham just for Paul Rubens.
Yeah, but also skip the first. That's also the best seasons.
That's also the best Riddler
in Gotham.
Yeah,
I mean he was the guy who played Penguin was also a great Penguin in that.
Yeah. Was it Robin Lord Taylor or whatever?
Even the girl who played Catwoman was really good. She's disappeared off the face of the earth, by the way.
I think she gave up acting.
Yeah, I think she was like a dancer or something to
stage. Yeah.
Nothing beats Michelle Pfeiffer.
Of course. Well, yeah. What are we talking about? Actually, Zoe Kravitz was pretty hot.
Just to reel you guys back into this.
Actually, Anne Hathaway. Can I get a shout out to Anne Hathaway? I don't care who doesn't like her. That was a good job.
I'll give a shout out.
Give her a shot.
Just looking at the bit of the backstory, like before production started, like so Tim Burton was thinking about coming back to this, but obviously with Warner Brothers and the friction of the second one, he just eventually backed out.
He also got pulled into doing Superman Lives.
Mm.
This movie was being made. He was trying to make Superman Lives.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and Kevin Smith.
Why am I not in this movie?
Listen, Kevin Smith, I'm not trying to cut you off. Kevin Smith wrote the better version of two movies, Daredevil and Superman Lives, which we never got to see because the Superman Lives script that we got was like them saying the regular script wasn't good enough and we want you to do it our way. And to his credit, if you watch anything, he did everything they asked him to do in the rewriting of the script. Anyways, sorry.
No. It's all good, man. But they settled on Joe Schumacher, obviously, and originally Michael Keaton was actually going to be in this thing, and he had showed up for costume fitting, but once he realized where the script was going, he just backed out.
And I believe he signed on to do Multiplicity.
Was it Multiplicity or was it that where he played like a killer or something?
Pacific Heights.
Oh yeah, I think it could. I think it might have been that. Yeah. Anyways, we'll let Timmy figure it out while we do this. Continue.
Yeah. Timmy's on it. I already talked to him.
But obviously Joe Schumacher settled on Val Kilmer because he saw the movie Tombstone.
It's a good movie.
Which is a good movie. But I just want to get your thoughts. Like, how did you guys think Val Kilmer did as Batman?
I think outside of him being an actual like piece of POS on set the whole time, which I don't want to give him too much credit for that. I mean, and I also don't want to just like harp on the dead, but I thought he was relatively well. He did a relatively good job
with what he had.
With what he had, and also the way he was acting. I mean, the way the kind of person he was being. Like, I think at some point he probably just got fed up of being there. So what they had to do was just take all the best parts that they had for him and just make a movie out of it.
Well,
Because he was notorious for like disappearing and like arguing with random people on the set and storming off. And
Did you
Schumacher and
want me
him
to-
didn't talk for you. You put it in your thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read that out?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll
Yeah,
let Putty
no,
say it.
like this
And
is
Campo
like,
was right. Multiplicity.
oh wow, okay. So yeah, which I enjoyed that too.
I like that movie.
But yeah, according to the rumors, during the filming of Batman Forever, the director and Val Kilmer clashed at one point and didn't talk for 2 weeks, and the director called Val Kilmer childish and impossible to work with after fighting with various crewmen. He also fought with Tommy Lee Jones, which he wanted to work with again because of the work that they did together on The Client. But unfortunately, after this experience, you didn't want to work with Tommy Lee Jones ever again. But you guys touched base on Jim Carrey. What did you guys think of how
Well,
Tommy Lee
let
Jones
Putty
did?
talk about Val Kilmer first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Then you can talk about Tommy Lee Jones as well.
Well, there's the thing. I was gonna say with the Val Kilmer situation, I noticed when it came to a tonal shift too. Val Kilmer probably took it better than I felt like Michael Keaton might have taken it. Because if you look at it, Michael Keaton kept that brooding thing, but they leaned into more of like the mental health situation when it came to this movie, which worked really good with Riddler's point of view. And I felt like Val Kilmer did a better job of that when it came to Bruce Wayne. And you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Michael Keaton could have pulled it off the way I felt that Val Kilmer presented it when it came to playing with that.
Kind of like the
Val
Spider-Man
Kilmer.
situation. Tobey Maguire was the better Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield was the better Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Exactly,
except that
exactly.
Michael Keaton was the better Bruce Wayne, and Christian
Michael
Bale was the better Batman. And on top of all of it, same as Spider-Man, Ben Affleck was the best combination of both, in my opinion. He balanced the world of Bruce Wayne and
Oh,
Batman
Bruce
the
Wayne and
best.
Batman. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. He really deserved the
But that's
movie, to be
Tom
honest with you,
Holland
but he
is
never
that.
got
Tom
it.
Holland is the best balance between Peter
Yeah.
Parker and Spider-Man. He's not the best Peter Parker. That's definitely Andrew Garfield. Or
You think
sorry, that's definitely
Tobey, yeah.
Tobey Maguire, and the best Spider-Man is
Yeah,
definitely Andrew Garfield.
yeah. Because he had the quips and everything. But anyway, that's
Yeah,
sidetracking
that's
with over
beside the
Marvel.
point. Like the best Deadpool is definitely Childish Gambino.
It is. It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
not Neil Patrick Harris?
It could be Neil Patrick Harris.
Nolan North. Nolan North. It could be Nolan North, though.
Nolan North.
Yeah.
Putty, you were talking about
Sidetracked.
Batman, but how did you feel Tommy Lee Jones did?
Well, Tommy Lee Jones, to be honest with you, is the whole time was probably the worst one in my eyes, especially since what he came off of with other movies. Because see, Jim Carrey, here's the thing: him being mad at Jim Carrey, that kind of hearing that later frustrated me, but you can see it when you watch the movie too. And the reason I say that is because you can he's acting like he laughs at certain points, but it feels so forced, and that really brought his his role down. Jim Carrey, on the other hand, he leaned into the Riddler situation in a more kooky way, and it worked for him. It's Jim Carrey. It's him at his best. You know what I mean? So for this version of it, it works. I just felt like Tommy Lee Jones, because he didn't like him, it really made his character look bad because he wasn't putting any effort into it, while I feel Jim Carrey was putting more
He
effort to it. Does that
also
make sense?
literally told Jim Carrey, "I will not sanction this buffoonery."
Yeah, yeah.
To his
Well, I know.
face.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
See, I'll rebuttal that because I feel the Riddler is supposed to be a methodical, high IQ character, and he did have a little with his inventions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like when he played him as Edward Nigma, yes, but when he went
Full
into actual
Riddler.
full Riddler mode, it was just way over the top.
Well, yeah,
I
true.
thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
there's I think potential there for the moment, like story wise, if you're going beat for beats. If the movie's tone was a little bit darker when they get to the house and they hurt Alfred, and you could have had them like basically almost kill Bruce Wayne,
Yeah,
right, in the Batcave.
like what they
They
did
figure out
in
it's
the
him,
Batman.
destroy all of the stuff in the Batcave, and then Robin comes home after being furious from being running away and sees what happened, and that's what pushes him to be Robin. Like that's what puts him over the edge. I have to help. I have to be the one to
but
save this.
But going back to like thinking about the old West Adam West shows. That's where I felt Jim Carrey's version of Riddler was. You know what I mean? The more
He was
slapstick.
definitely channeling Frank Gorshin.
Exactly, and that's my point. Is And they were trying for that tone, and so I feel like that's what they gave Jim Carrey and said, "This is what your inspiration is," and he said, "Okay, I could do this," because he can be very slapstick. You know what I mean? So I feel for what he had, he accomplished it, and that's why I give him that plus. On the other hand, Two Face was supposed to probably be like that version of Two Face as well, but again, he was just phoning it in. He was like, "I don't want to be there," and like that. I don't want to deal with his buffoonery, as Campo keeps saying. You know what I mean? And so I at least give Jim Carrey props on that. You know what I mean?
See, I think that's where the film suffered a bit is the fact that they had two villains.
Yeah.
Whereas Batman, the first Batman, just one villain. The second one, you had Penguin as the villain. Max Schreck is kind of like a foil for it. And Michelle Pfeiffer kind of straddled the line between good and evil. She wasn't evil. She was just out for revenge for what happened to her.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, these are two villains teaming up, but I didn't feel, maybe it's because they didn't like working with each other, but I didn't feel the dynamic worked. I think if it was just Riddler instead of both Riddler and Two-Face, I think it may have worked a little better. Also, I
Hmm.
would have liked to see how he became Two-Face as a like, even just a quick flashback
I
Well,
would
on
have
no,
how
they
he.
did.
I
They
think
did
they
though.
do.
Remember,
Yeah, it's in like a
they
courtroom.
do.
Someone throws.
It's the court scene. They show the acid going to space and
Okay.
everything. So they do show it briefly.
I would have had Catwoman come back
Yeah.
and had Catwoman and
Wasn't that the
Riddler.
original plan too?
I think so. Yeah,
Because they teased it at the end of
I
Batman
believe she even
Returns.
signed on to come back.
Johnny Donuts. So, would you have liked to have seen Billy D. Williams come back as Two Face,
Absolutely.
and
I
how do you
liked
think he would have done?
I think he would have done great because Billy D. Williams played a good Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent was charismatic, he was popular, he was a schmoozer. And in the first Batman movie, that's exactly what he was. The one of the opening towards the opening of the movie, they're having the charity event at Wayne Manor, and they ask him for a quote. He goes, "The city has enough problems other than having to deal with ghosts and goblins." You know what I mean? Like it's the way he played that character of Harvey Dent, very charismatic. That's why the people loved him. That's why he was elected as a DA. And the torment that the guy goes through, I think Billy D. Williams would have done a fantastic job of
And
transitioning from Harvey Dent to Two Face.
I want before
and
Putty talks. Can I just like have a dream that at some point we got a buddy cop movie between Billy D. Williams and Carl Weathers, like Apollo Creed and
And Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Putty.
Well, no, I was going to go. I'll say this is going back to the original casting too. If we were to put Billy D. Williams in here with Jim Carrey, I still don't think that would fit based on Billy T. Williams and how his acting is. So if I were to go back and actually go back and talk about Robin Williams again, if you look at you joked about it, JD, but if you actually think about the dynamic, if it was made by Burton and you put Robin Williams in there as a Riddler and he's going on this whole breakdown and he lets him actually
Yeah.
act and everything, you can have a really good Riddler that would be sadistic and putting implants. At the same time, Two Face by Billy D. Williams would counteract with him very perfectly in that situation
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be so over dramatic. It would be more grounded in a more
Because
crazy way.
going back and to add to your point too, at that point, Jim Carrey wasn't known for serious roles. It wasn't until
Hmm.
like a little bit later that I would say maybe at the like you were starting to see get a little bit more seriousness from him in Cable Guy.
Hmm.
Which highly underrated movie.
Yep.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is a more serious movie as well,
The
right?
number
And
23.
number
Around 23, yeah.
23, even in like a non-slapstick comedy like Truman Show,
Yeah.
you see his range there too, right? So
But all of
if
these ranges came after Batman Forever.
exactly came after Batman, so it's like if he was maybe allowed to show that range in Batman, I think this is more the direction saying like channel Gorshin. We want more Gorshin-esque.
Hmm. Yep.
I don't know, Putty. Like when we're talking about Robin Williams as uh, the Riddler, I think he would have been perfect for the role. I think he would have done a great job, but I think he would have taken it in a more serious
Hmm.
way. But you know, I don't think that's what Joel Schumacher wanted. I think he wanted to keep it more
Well,
lighthearted and yeah, and kind of get away from that seriousness,
Yeah.
which would have pissed off Warner Brothers because, or this is exactly what Warner Brothers wanted because they want to be able to market,
Yeah.
the movie as much as possible with the toys and all that stuff. So if Robin Williams was taking more of a serious route, I don't think it would I just don't think it would be what exactly Joe Schumacher wanted.
No, that would have worked better if Burton stayed on.
But that's what I say. In the alternate universe right now, there is a world where they said, you know what, we'll give you a second chance, and we got the third Burton, and I feel like that's where Robin Williams would have came in and all that
We
kind
did.
of stuff.
Campo knows exactly what I'm talking about. The miniseries Batman '89. There's a comic series Batman '89 which takes place right after Batman
Well,
Returns.
Caps knows all about it. Caps has those too.
Yep. Yeah, and we
It's
get
still
that could've
going.
been-
The series is still running.
Yeah, there's a second volume to it now.
I think
yes.
there's a third volume now.
Which due to the success of that, they brought out Superman 78, which is a sequel from the Donner cut. Where he fights Brainiac,
that.
I believe.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'll
but
go
no,
do that.
the Batman '89 is fantastic. We get
It's
the
a
Billy
good.
D.
It's a
Williams.
good comic. It's a good.
We
comic.
get the Billy D. Williams Two-Face and his
You
transformation.
get you get Marlon Wayne's Robin.
Robin, like was originally
Oh,
planned.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember when that rumor mill was going on. Which at the same time, I had mixed feelings for that, and it's because again, situation. If it was based with Burton, I don't see him as Robin. You know what I mean? I actually could switch it and see. I would see more Crystal Donald as Robin in that scenario.
But I think
Because
you see it because it's a white guy, number one, which is typical what a Robin is.
Yeah.
And because you've already
No.
seen Chris O'Donnell as Robin, so in your head you just feel comfortable with that.
But see, just flipping it around. Oh, my camera.
But at the
But I
time,
think
Marlon
if
Wayans
you
wasn't
saw-
unknown.
Yeah, if you had seen Marlon Wayans as Robin and not Chris O'Donnell, I think you'd think it was weird to pick Chris O'Donnell as Robin and the other way
Yeah,
around.
because this is
Well,
before
well-
In Living Color, right?
No, this
No?
is
Well, no, but
this is
but
after it ended. I think.
yeah. But see, I'm referring to like if I could see Marlon Wayans more in the Schumacher version because of how his comedy is. You know what I mean? In that situation. But again, it's a weird situation because even in this movie, when it came to both things, when it came to slapstick to seriousness,
It ended in '94.
There you go.
that
Long ago, holy jeez.
That feels weird. But yeah, so seeing that scenario is, it looks like when it came to the good guys, Chris O'Donnell and Val Kilmer, we got the more serious tone with those characters. But then over here on the upper end, the villains are more over the top and everything. And it's one of those things where it didn't work, but at least for the actors that had it outside of, again, Two-Face, they did what they can. You know what I mean? I felt they did a good job.
Capos, what did you think of Chris O'Donnell and how he portrayed Robin?
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Chris O'Donnell generally as an actor.
Boys don't cry.
I don't think he's ever
Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman. He's good, but he's not great.
He's good in Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, I'll give you that one. That's probably the best one. He's definitely not good in The Bachelor. I'm not a big Chris O'Donnell guy. Actually, you know what? I like him in NCIS. Is that what it was? NCIS Los Angeles. I think he's
Something
in.
like
Miami.
that. One of those.
It was the Miami one. I think it was like.
Anywho, irrelevante.
And then they had the clone of Chris O'Donnell in CSI.
Yeah. Listen, enough telling me about Chris O'Donnell. He was okay. I think you could have made a better choice. He's a little bit like stiff as an actor. Like his delivery isn't great. I'm assuming they just picked him because they're like, Chris O'Donnell's hot right now. Look how cute he is. All the girls like him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know why Joel Schumacher picked him,
Because
but
Joel Schumacher was
I don't. I'm not the biggest fan. Not the biggest fan. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm not a fan of Chris O'Donnell either. I think if they went with somebody a little bit younger than him at the time to play that whiny, like rebellious kid, if you got
Macaulay Culkin.
Honestly, like I would have even taken that. Like you get this whiny, rebellious 16, 17-year-old, it would have worked better than.
Okay, keep talking. You guys.
Yeah, but okay. So if Batman and Chris O'Donnell was already almost 30.
He would have been
Batman.
15, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Chris O'Donnell was 25, 26 when Batman came out. So he's already a grown ass man.
But when you're working with like actors under the age of 18, you have to have like follow all those rules. You can't film at night. You have to go to school. Like you have to
Yeah.
give them everything. So it's
But
like
Batman was all filmed on a soundstage anyway.
that's true.
Oh, I'm gonna open up to you guys. It's everyone here. So, what did everybody think about Nicole Kidman in this movie?
I mean,
It's Nicole Kidman. What
I
do
think
you gotta say?
she gives a performance that is mirroring back the performances that everyone else is giving. Like it's way over the top. Like her acting is so like too much. It's hard to call her bad in here because I don't think the script for her is good. Like her reason for existence is a plot device for
Val Kilmer.
and then she's gone. She's not even in the next movie.
What was the line that Deadpool said in the second movie about how they used Vanessa as a plot device? That's pretty much what she was in this movie.
She was the fridge.
I mean?
Was it the fridge?
Yeah, she's the fridge, the fridge woman. But yeah, she felt like it was. You have to have a female that's in love with Batman because every movie has it, and that's what she
Fridge
was.
woman. That's so good. Sorry, I'm late to the joke.
I mean, I'm watching the film. I'm like, her acting was a little. It felt a little off to me, but she looked good on the screen.
Yeah.
You know,
This is at this point when they made this movie, I think really her only like high caliber role was in a erotic thriller, and I can't remember the name on the top of my head.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Was it?
I think it came before this, right?
was
Like
it the-
just before this.
Yeah, I believe so.
She's like on the poster or something like
But
that.
then not too long after this, she does Eyes Wide Shut, and that was like the movie where she really like started breaking out as an actress.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Timmy's
I know
on
she
it.
was in a movie with Timothy Cruz. Oh no, wait, that was Eyes Wide Shut.
That was Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
So
What
have
did
you
guys
figured
think
it
the
out?
action sequences?
Timmy's on it. Timmy's on it.
Say it again.
I said Timmy's on
Not
it.
you frick.
Far and away, I think she was in before this with Tom Cruise. That Australian, it was like the Australian Revolution or something like that. She was in Dead Calm
That's it.
and Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise.
I didn't even know she was in Days of Thunder.
Yeah, she was in Billy Bathgate.
Yeah, Billy Bathgate's actually not like the worst movie.
And the one you're thinking about came out around the
To
same
Die
time,
For?
which was called To Die For.
To Die For.
And then she did another movie with the next Batman called The Peacemaker with George Clooney.
Oh wow.
That's funny.
Billy Bathgate is kind of an underrated like mob movie.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I think Dustin Hoffman's in that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you guys think about the action sequences in this movie?
I thought they were really cool. I think
yeah.
the use of the lights is cool. The neon, the glowing.
Mhm.
The black light colors.
I think the suits really add to it, though. They pop. This movie, they look good. In the next movie, they're way too shitty.
They have too much of that shine to it. Like
Yeah.
they have a sheen to it.
I mean, I don't mind the shine on the Robin outfit when it's the red with the green that he has with the gold belt.
It
and
stands
stuff.
out. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's once they get like the blue and black suits at the end of the movie, like when they come running and they're wearing like different outfits
Yeah.
because someone burned down the
Batcave.
Batcave.
I thought that was the end of Batman Forever, where the three of them are running in new costumes, or
That
Batman and
happens
Robin.
too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they got new costumes in both of them actually.
Yeah.
Heck, I think the first two it was the only time that they kept the same bat suit.
So
within this
I
whole
believe
series,
the Batmobile gets blown up. and
Slightly
then-
different in the second one.
Yeah.
Well, not that much.
The logo on the front is different.
Yeah, it is. So
But
they
yeah,
get
but it's not as dramatically.
they blow up the
different.
Batmobile
Anyway.
and then they drive the Bat boat and the
Mhm.
motorcycle or the plane and the boat, one of the two, to go to the giant blender in the sky. I don't
Giant
know.
Well,
blender.
yep, and,
Uh,
and basically those were their ways of selling toys. They sold toys, and they said, "Let's do that again in the third one, but now I have 3 vehicles."
It was literally a toy commercial.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they and to the credit of I'm not sure who was making those, if it was Toy Biz or Kenner.
Kenner.
or someone bought Kenner. But what they did is, so the Batman 89 Batcave was repainted and released for Batman Returns, which was then repainted and released for Batman Forever, which was then repainted and released for Batman and Robin, which was then repainted and released for Batman the Animated Series. So they used the same Batcave
6 times.
model, which, and it was whatever company bought Kenner, just used the same. They were just using old stock. So if you've ever bought that or seen that, then there's a Villain's Lair, which guess what it is? A repaint of the 1989 Batcave.
I think Hasbro bought Kenner.
It might have been Hasbro. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
Thank you, Timmy. It's owned by Hasbro now.
If anyone, there's a couple really good videos online about the history of the Kenner Batcave.
But yeah, they're owned by Hasbro now.
Shout out, if anyone gets the Bob figure in mint condition, you can send it to me. I'll take it.
Bob, you
You guys touched briefly on it. I was just wondering what your thoughts on the Batmobile was in Batman Forever.
It's horse shit.
Yeah, it's ugly.
It's horrible. Oh,
It's right up there for me with the original Batmobile, which was just a car with a giant picture of Batman's face on the front.
Right. That was one of the first comic book cars. Yes.
Yeah.
was this? I don't remember it too, because here's the thing. I know this in the next movie, the Batmobile is really bad. Which one was the one that was all vented? Was it this one that has like all the vents on it?
Yeah,
it looks
that's
just
this
really
one.
weird. Like,
Yeah.
My thing, every time I see that thing, I feel like it's like just the side of a fan.
Yeah, with
That
that
was
really
just
big
right-
fin in the middle.
Yeah,
It's like a shark. Some kind of shark.
The Sharkmobile.
But anyway, I was like, that was just the weirdest looking vehicle ever, and it continued to spiral when it came to the.
This
later
is like
vehicles
the
as well.
beginning of making. No, okay, this is definitely not the beginning because Transformers and shit existed. But this is like where comic book movies completely went off the rails, where it's like we're only making them to sell toys.
I agree. They brought it back about
How
maybe
many
a few years
kids?
later.
How many kids in the 80s when it happened were reading Frank Miller Batman?
Yes.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
good point.
Like
Yeah,
those are the
yeah.
people that were showing up for Batman 89, the people that were like the
Dark Knight. Yeah.
the Batman Revolution, the reincarnation of Batman when they finally discovered what the character should have been this whole time, this dark, brooding detective character. And that's what made Batman blow up again. That's the reason Batman 89 got made, because the popularity of Batman came from those darker comics and people going nuts for them. It wasn't from kids showing up to the comic book store buying
No.
Frank Miller Batman.
And to be fair, Batman the Animated Series had a
I'm
lot
about
to
to
do
say
with
that,
that
yeah.
as well, because they went on a darker tone with that. Like to this day, and everybody praises it. One of my favorite episodes was Heart of Ice.
Well, the movie, the
Mask of Phantasm.
no, the Mr. Freeze one is amazing. The Mr.
Oh,
Freeze
yeah.
movie is really good. I can't remember what it's called. Sub-Zero, I think.
Yeah.
That's really good, and like Phantasm is a great movie.
Yeah. Played by
It's-
Abe Vigoda,
Yeah.
Tessio
Yeah.
from The Godfather.
It's a really Abe Vigoda. Abe Vigoda also played the guy in Ready to Rumble.
Yes, he
What
did.
was his name when he pops up under the thing and he just kept yelling his name? Sal Bandini, want to wrestle?
Salvanini, yes.
Anyways,
John Cena was in that movie too.
There you go. See, we learned something new.
You
So
just
was
didn't
David
see him.
Arquette, future champion. I think that time that's what people wanted, right? So you had darker comics. You had the first two movies were dark. Batman the Animated Series was dark. That's why they were popular. So to go this route to sell toys is crazy to me, because you could have just sold the toys. You didn't need the movie to sell the toys. Kids are going to buy toys anyways. You show all those flashy toys in the thing. They don't need to go watch the movie.
No, because a lot of the toy line from the first movie had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I remember watching this. This is one of the earliest movies I remember watching as a child in the theater. I don't remember there being any other kids there except for me and my sister.
For
And we
Batman
sat
Forever?
front row, like it was bad.
For Batman Forever?
Batman Forever, yeah.
Wow. It would have been interesting what Tim Burton would have done with this film. I am I'm aware that he doesn't like the actual title of the movie, Batman Forever. But
You
it would
wanted
have
it to
been
be
really.
what? Batman
I
Batman
saw it
again? It was
somewhere, and
Batman again, I think.
yeah, I can't remember. I saw it somewhere, and it escapes me right now. But it would have been real interesting what he would have done with this movie, and how far he would have been able to take it, knowing what he did with the first two Batman films that he did. How much he would have
Well,
pissed off Warner Brothers even more.
well,
Um,
here's the thing. I feel like it would have pissed people off, but I feel like it also would have got a really big following, especially with adults and like the older audience. And then I feel like it would have actually been a different direction for even later for the Nolan North movies.
Batman
So,
Continues is
Yeah.
what it was going to be.
yes.
but yeah, that's how I feel about that. I mean, just briefly want to jump in there and say that.
So we talked a little bit about it before, but I just want to come back to it because I want to talk about it a little bit more. The soundtrack. Um, you know, what do you
Top
guys think? I mean, I
top
do remember
10
the
movie soundtracks of all time.
Kiss from the Rose went so huge then, and then I remember
Yeah,
that I
if
remember
no
I
one
love the
knows what the
YouTube song.
song's about,
no.
not even Seal.
And then you two on the album had was it Numb Me, Kiss
Hold
Me,
Me, Kiss
Hold
something
me,
Me.
kill
thrill
me.
me.
It's an
Yeah,
amazing song.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's one of my favorite U2
It
songs.
was a
Yeah.
great song.
Favorite.
Like Weird Al even liked it so much he parodied it. Like it was such a good song and everything. And
Great,
this is
great
a
video
good
too.
solid song.
Yeah,
We
Oh
the
get
yeah,
we
oh
animated
get
yeah,
we
video.
even get we even get the Offspring on the soundtrack with Smash It Up.
Yeah, it's a really good
oh yeah.
soundtrack. I remember owning this when I was young. I probably bought this like the soundtrack like maybe 2 years after the movie.
I got that listing in front of me. You had U2, Brandy, Massive Attack, Mazzy Star, Nick Cave. We have In Excess, PJ Harvey, Seal, The Offspring, Method Man, and the Flaming Lips.
It's a shame it wasn't Harvey Danger instead of PJ Harvey, but I'm pretty sure Harvey Danger didn't exist at that point.
No.
Flagpole Sitta, greatest
Sitta.
song ever made for the Faculty soundtrack.
Paranoid, I'm paranoid, nothing coming to get me.
I
Get
genuinely
me.
think that's one of the
Never met
greatest
me.
alternative rock songs ever made.
Flagpole
I
Sitta,
gotta.
yeah.
Actually, now that you said that, I'm gonna listen to that after this podcast.
I think it's so catchy, and it's like the way that it builds to like that getting like him screaming is like really cool.
It's the best
Anywho,
Weezer song Weezer never wrote.
literally the best Weezer. It's the best Gob song Gob never wrote.
Gob. Our
Gob,
friend
that
south of the
Gob song
border.
is really good. What's it called?
I just remember that song. I want to jump in a lake.
Oh my God, I want to
just
jump
remember
in a
that.
lake. No way. Okay, hold on. I gotta search this because I'm not gonna remember. But yeah, jump in a lake. Gob. Not to be confused with Job. I hear
Okay,
you
wait.
calling.
Yes, NHL
Yeah.
98, I think it was.
Banger tune. Banger
Trouble
tune.
Charger.
My ex-girlfriend went to that concert when they came to Toronto.
Who, Trouble Charger?
No, Gob.
Oh.
Fuck Trouble Charger. I hate Trouble Charger.
Sum 41. Well, I mean, we pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about in this film. I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts about the film. What would you guys?
My final thoughts are I really like doing these episodes, and I think Caps is a great host, and I want him to do more of these episodes.
Also, release the Schumacher cut.
Release the Schumacher cut.
Yes, release the Schumacher cut. Yeah.
What's your final thoughts? Give us your final thoughts. You
Is there
do
a
final
Schumacher
thoughts.
cut for Batman and Robin, or is it just Batman
No.
Forever?
There's only Batman Forever because Batman and Robin is just what it is. Batman Forever.
He wanted to make a
wrote-
shitty movie.
He
You know what?
wrote a different movie. He was planning to create a darker tone movie that was more about the relationship between Batman and Robin.
Okay, you know what? Just how about this? Warner Brothers, give us the Burton cut. I know it doesn't exist, but AI exists, so bring Robin Williams back.
Read the comic. It's right there.
Read the comic, Putty. Honestly, read the
Okay,
comic.
I will.
Read Batman 89, Superman 78, and Wonder Woman 77,
Okay,
Oh, yeah, I
all
forgot
right.
they did Wonder Woman 77.
which is the continuation of the Linda Carter Wonder
Well,
Woman.
they caught on to that because the Batman 66 series where they had, and then they did the Green Hornet 70, I think, where it's like
Yeah.
it was a continuation from the Green Hornet show, and then they crossed over in one of the comics. Anyways, I'm going way too
I
far.
also have Batman 66 meets the Man from U.N.C.L.E. That is great.
They do, and I own that. That's a good one. Nick, give us the final thoughts of the show.
Well, I mean, like you guys made some good suggestions, so everybody out there, please check it out. Um, I recall watching this movie. I thought it was fun for what it was, and bit of a lighter tone. I think Val Kilmer did a decent job. But I'm always going to be partial to
The OG Batman.
89. But just my final thoughts are rest in peace, Val Kilmer. It's pretty unfortunate what happened to him, and happy anniversary for this film. For anyone who's never watched the film and is curious about Batman Forever, please check it out. And always you're always welcome to comment and give us your thoughts on what you thought about the film and this video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have. So I don't know if you guys got anything.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember to tell Putty that he's a goof troop.